just so I don't scratch the door when it opens for now, because we don't have the door stops on it yet. Don't want to piss Phil off too much. As I trip, drop all your stereo equipment. My son, he's had a very hard time in university. He's exhausted from playing video games. Well, let's see. At Tetford, we made. Well, I'll start at the front, I guess. Stuff that you can't see. We made a bracket to hold the front fenders because of the difference in the years from a 1980 to a 97. The front axles moved back a bit, so we had to move the fenders back. There was a bracket that came out on a 1980 from the center piece where it pivots, that came basically straight out, well, a little jog on it, and you attached your fender to it. But because we had to move the fender back to get our tire centered with it, we had to make up a new piece. The surroundings for the front grille surroundings here, they were all made up there. The grill, we had sat down and went on the internet and checked out different grills from 1980s, and we came up with a design. We were going to have the old-fashioned slots, and then at the very top, Danielle was going to get his brother to cut out with the laser cutter Freightliner out of the stainless, and then we were going to take a blue piece of aluminum, a painted piece, and stick it on, so that way you would see Freightliner in blue. So it was going to look great. The problem is between the snowstorm up there, the power had all been cut back, so Danielle's brother, who has a laser cutter, runs on 3-phase, and he was cut down to half the power, so there was no way for him to cut it. He spent hours trying it, and the laser cutter was basically working at 10%, and it just made a mess out of it. Besides, even if he would have got it done, the roads were closed because of the snowstorm, so he's about 20 minutes away. There would have been no way of getting it down to the shop. So instead, we came up with another design. Once we get the hood closed, I can show you. The air cleaners, had the air cleaners wrapped, and I got them to put the design in it, rewrap the old air cleaners. Instead of using the old style brackets, we made new ones that we just bolt in, so all you see is just a couple of carriage heads here, bolts holding the air cleaner to the new brackets. I had them make these steps all out of stainless steel. I always thought back in the, I had an 88 Freightliner that had steps like this on it, and they look great when they were polished. The only problem is with aluminum, it dulls quick, and it's, pain trying to keep it up. So instead, I had to make them out of stainless steel. These are, they were all made out of just flat stainless steel. He had the holes cut, then he punched these little dimples into it. We had the deck plate made. What I did was, our fifth wheel plate has a bit of a bow in it, and we thought, that doesn't look right. Then after looking at it, we decided to make all the deck plates with a bow in them. So I'll tell you, with all the trucks that have deck plates on, one of the biggest problems is water pooling on them. And there's nothing worse than trying to get that stain off the stainless steel. So we we bowed all the deck plates. So it's going to be a bit of a unique look, and it fixed our problem with the fifth wheel plate. The other thing, our tanks were wrapped in stainless. Then coming back here to the fenders, Danielle built
Bend it up more than we need.
a machine that could bend, take flat stainless steel. He just rounds the corners a bit on his brake, and then he passes the stainless through this machine that rolls them. So the unique thing about these fenders is I had them put in the sun rays, or the sunset or sunrise lines in them. So I figured I'll try a set of these. He's had them out for a few years, but I've never used them before on one of the show trucks, and I thought I'd try them, bring it down to Louisville. Maybe it'll catch on. The brackets that he made for them were completely custom built for the truck. The bracket is basically, in a sense, it's hidden, but it keeps it open here instead of putting a bracket across the fender like most of them have. He mounted them low, made this up, just a different design to hide the bracket. Same thing with the middle bracket. Instead of having just a piece looping around, he made a bit of a design to it. They follow the fender, so it looks a little more unique. Now, this is our one-off bumper. Actually, this is just a bracket that they made up quickly to hold the fenders. The bumper it's going to be very unique. It's a design that Danielle and I came up with. He was I seen him drawing away, trying to figure out something different to put on the back of the truck. And then I thought about how the Freightliner coat hanger emblem is. So we drew it out, and he took some thin galvanized and formed it. It's going to be like a huge Freightliner sign, the emblem, and it's going to have 3 tail lights and a backup light on each side. Unfortunately, the length of my trailer, my double drop, I'm not able to have it on to put, I can't put the bumper on and put the truck on the trailer without my ramps, and they're here stuck in the snow. Anyways, once we'll get this stuff off and hang the bumper up. I had these pieces made up here. They're aluminum. I'm going to be taking them off and getting them painted. There is a bunch of extra holes in the frame, and instead of welding them, it's not right to weld in a frame because it takes the temper out of the frame if you put too much heat. So I know a lot of guys do it. Personally, I don't like doing it because, this is your structure here. So what I've done or had them do is, we came up with this. It's just a cover to go over top of the frame. The bolts are hidden from inside, and right now they're just raw aluminum. Pull off 4 bolts, they're off, and they're going to be painted tomorrow. But it's just a different idea. It's nice to have a nice clean frame with no holes or no bolts and that.
Lined up at the center, right? That's what he did was, for the stripes, it's lined up for the gear shift.
That's about it for now. We'll have to start mounting some stuff on there.
What's going on with the fifth wheel? You gonna polish that?
Oh, yeah. If I have time. It's a Holland fifth wheel. It's I think a joint venture between Holland and Alcoa. It's an aluminum fifth wheel plate, which I'm sure it must weigh half the weight of a steel plate. If I have time, I want to sand it down and polish it. I think it'll look awfully sharp up there. That's if I have time to do it.
So when you say you have time, so what's the schedule now?
What's the schedule now? Well, this is, okay, well on Wednesday, we got the stripes put on. They clear coated it Wednesday night. Mike and I were at the body shop on Thursday morning to pick it up at 6. I got out of there at 9 in the morning, and I drove roughly 6 hours to Thetford Mines. Got to Thetford Mines Thursday afternoon. It was roughly 3 o'clock by the time I had everything unloaded. We worked on it Thursday night till 10 at night. The next morning we started on Friday morning, we started around 8 in the morning, and we worked till about 2 in the morning. Back in there Saturday morning at 8, and we worked on it till 6 o'clock. So now it's Sunday morning, so between today and tomorrow, we're hoping to have all the interior in, the bumper on the back, bumper on the front, and the stacks on. It doesn't, and the mirrors, of course, plus there's no guts in the doors, there's no side windows in the doors. It doesn't sound like a lot of stuff to do, but it's all time consuming. The exhaust, everything's got to be measured, cut. We don't even know if we have all the right pieces, the angled pipes and whatnot. The bumper's not a big deal. I'm going to get my son to wire it up before we put it on. So there's a lot to do and hardly any time, because, well, this being Sunday, hopefully by Tuesday morning we want to be on the road and on our way down. You know, when I was in Thetford Mines, my trailer, the only thing that I could see of my trailer were my rear wheels and the front of the truck. And there was another gentleman there with a double drop who he had his truck at Danielle's as well, and he loaded his truck up. He was late because the roads were closed. And I'm sitting here thinking Saturday night, crawling underneath in these snow drifts, trying to chain this thing down, thinking, you know, our competition, what are they dealing with? You know, we're dealing with a guy from Texas. Like, what are they doing Saturday night? Barbecuing? And here we are in a damn snowstorm, you know, and basically they're not allowing me back up there because every time I show up there, it snows. 3 days it snowed up there and windy. So they've had enough of it. This is how much snow they got. I'm sure there's other places in Canada, you know, that get a lot of snow, but they've had so much snow that they closed the snowmobile trails and the four-wheeler trails because they went out over their budget for grooming. So that means they've had a bad winter, or good, if you're a snowmobiler. Okay, the rivets that are missing here, this is where our cross piece goes, the aluminum cross piece. And these rivets, we can't get the gun in there to rivet them. So we're going to have to take some rivet heads that are painted, and just stick them in there. First I got to work at the interior, then I'm going to hook up for the springs and everything to help open the hood and help close the hood. There's a mechanism that has to be mounted in here, so I'm going to have to drill the holes and rivet that.